All right, so today we're diving into yoga,
Ooh, fun.
and we're looking at a really interesting source. It's actually a YouTube video in Hindi
Okay.
that explores this book, Patanjali Yoga Pradeep, published by Gita Press in Gorakhpur.
Interesting.
Yeah, and what's really cool about this video
Hmm.
is it's packed with illustrations, and it kind of dives deep into all these different
Right.
interpretations of yoga philosophy.
Yeah, I mean, it really offers like a visually rich and culturally insightful perspective, I think, on yoga.
Yeah.
You know, going beyond like the common Western understanding of it.
Totally. So the book itself, Patanjali Yoga Pradeep, it's about 720 pages long, costs €25.
Wow.
But it's not really about the price tag. It's about the content inside, right?
Absolutely. And this book isn't just about like the Yoga Sutra.
Right.
It also compares yoga to other Indian philosophies.
Okay.
You know, what's called the Shad Darshan.
Shad Darshan.
Yeah.
Break that down for me.
Sure. So Shad Darshan literally means like 6 views, and it refers to 6 major schools of thought in Hindu philosophy.
Okay.
And the book kind of explores how these different philosophies, including Sankhya, which is very closely related to yoga, how they all intersect and sometimes diverge in their understanding of reality and the path to liberation.
Wow. So it really places yoga like within a broader philosophical context.
Precisely. And it does it in such a captivating way,
Yeah.
like incorporating quotes and visuals and commentary on various interpretations.
Wow.
It really feels like you're going on this guided tour through the complexities of, you know, these ancient practices.
It sounds like the author, Swami Sitaram, really wanted this book to have like a specific impact
Oh, yeah.
on its readers.
Oh, absolutely. You can feel it in the book, like Swami Sitaram's deep desire for people to kind of awaken to their inner potential. And he really emphasizes this importance of purifying our behavior and our diet, turning inwards from external distractions to really achieve this. And he actually says, and I quote, "Just as a mirror covered in dust cannot reflect an image clearly, a mind clouded by impurities cannot perceive its true nature."
Whoa. That's such a powerful analogy.
Isn't it?
I love that.
Yeah.
And it really speaks to that idea of self-improvement that I think a lot of our listeners are,
Absolutely.
really interested in. Like it's
Yeah.
about, clearing away those mental obstacles
Yeah.
to see ourselves and our potential more clearly.
Exactly. And the book kind of suggests that yoga provides a very practical framework for achieving this.
So how does the book actually guide the reader on this journey? Like, what's the structure of the book like?
So it's actually quite comprehensive.
Okay.
It starts by introducing the Vedas,
Okay.
which are ancient Indian scriptures,
Mhm.
and then it kind of delves into those 6 philosophies we talked about.
Yeah.
The Shad Darshan.
Right.
But the heart of the book is really its exploration of Sankhya and yoga.
So it lays like a foundation with these core texts and then really dives deep into those too.
That's right. But it's not just like dry theory
Right.
and philosophical jargon. It's filled with stories,
Yeah.
scientific explanations,
Cool.
and detailed descriptions of asanas, which are the physical postures you might be familiar with,
Right.
and pranayama, which are breathing exercises. And it even has illustrations of these practices.
Oh, wow. See, that's what I'm talking about. Those visuals, I think, are really helpful,
Oh, they're amazing.
especially for someone like me who's like a visual learner.
Absolutely. And it doesn't stop there.
Oh, no.
No, the book also includes like 5 appendices,
Wow.
which have additional resources like the original Yoga Sutras in Sanskrit,
Nice.
indexes, and extra topics. It truly wants to be this comprehensive resource for anyone
Yeah.
interested in really delving deeper into yoga.
That's really impressive.
Yeah.
But yoga is such a vast and ancient tradition with all these different schools of thought
Right.
and practices.
Absolutely.
Does the book acknowledge that kind of diversity of perspectives?
It does. Yeah. In fact, it even delves into some of the debates and differing interpretations
Well, cool.
surrounding the 6 philosophies and yoga itself.
Okay.
So some schools view the 6 philosophies as conflicting,
Right.
while others see them as harmonious,
Oh.
each offering a different lens through which to understand reality.
So it doesn't shy away from presenting a more nuanced view of yoga.
It actually highlights the work of Dayananda Saraswati,
Okay.
who was a philosopher who advocated for a synthesis of these different philosophies.
Okay.
You know, he believed they could all be reconciled and ultimately complement each other.
I like that.
It's like looking at a diamond from different angles.
Mm-hmm.
Each facet reveals a different aspect of its beauty,
Right.
but together they create this unified whole.
That's a beautiful analogy.
Thank you.
I like how the book encourages us to consider these different viewpoints and perspectives instead of just presenting a single rigid interpretation.
Right. And it even mentions other commentators like Vijnana Bhikshu, who also contributed to these efforts to try to find some common ground between these various philosophical schools. So it really showcases the richness and diversity of thought within yoga.
This is fascinating.
Yeah.
It's like peeling back the layers of an onion.
It is.
Revealing more and more complexity and nuance as we go deeper.
Exactly. And we're just getting started.
All right, well, let's keep peeling back those layers. I'm really eager to learn more about the specific concepts that the book explores.
Yeah.
And how they might be relevant to our listeners.
Absolutely.
Let's do it.
Let's do it. So we talked about how Patanjali Yoga Pradeep goes beyond just the Yoga Sutra, and explores yoga's place in this broader philosophical framework.
Totally. And you mentioned that it does that in a really visually engaging way.
Yes.
Especially for visual learners like myself.
Right.
So tell me more about these illustrations. Like, what really stood out to you?
Yeah. Well, I think what's so cool is how the visuals really bring the practice of yoga to life.
Okay.
Imagine trying to understand a complex yoga pose just from a written description.
Oh, yeah.
Can be tough to visualize, right?
Absolutely. I've been there.
Yeah.
Trying to decipher instructions and ending up in a very un-yogic pretzel.
Exactly. But when you see a detailed illustration of the pose with the proper alignment and everything, it just makes it so much clearer.
It's like having a virtual yoga instructor right there.
Exactly.
A bit.
And, it's not just asanas.
Right.
You'll find visualizations of mudras, which are those hand gestures that direct energy flow.
Okay.
And even depictions of the chakras, the subtle energy centers within the body.
Yeah, it sounds like a visual feast for anyone who wants to understand those more subtle aspects of yoga.
Absolutely.
What I'm gathering, this book goes beyond just the physical practice and really dives into the energetic and philosophical dimension.
Precisely. The visuals really do enhance that learning experience, make these abstract concepts much more accessible.
But we've also talked about how it's not all theory and pretty pictures.
Right.
It's got practical guidance.
Absolutely.
And techniques as well.
This is where it gets really interesting, for those seeking tangible applications of yogic principles. So the book delves into various practices, including, techniques for body purification, natural healing methods, even techniques for influencing others and treating illnesses remotely.
Hold on, influencing others remotely.
Yeah,
that sounds intense.
Oh, powerful stuff.
Can you expand on that? What kind of techniques are we talking about here?
Well, the book, touches on this power of focused intention and this interconnectedness of all energies. But it really stresses that these techniques should be used ethically,
right, of course,
responsibly, always within the framework of spiritual development.
Okay.
It's not about manipulating others for personal gain, but really about understanding those subtle ways that our energies can interact and influence the world around us.
So it's not about wielding some kind of mystical power over others.
No, not at all.
But more about understanding how our energies interact with the world around us.
Exactly.
Okay, that makes sense. What about those natural healing methods?
No,
You mentioned, I'm always interested to learn about different approaches to well-being.
So the book explores a variety of methods. Some you might be familiar with, like water therapy.
Right.
It also talks about using sunlight for healing.
Okay.
And something called color therapy.
Color therapy. I've heard of that, but I don't really know much about it.
Yeah.
How does that relate to yoga?
So it's based on this idea that different colors vibrate at different frequencies. And these vibrations can affect our physical and energetic bodies.
Interesting.
So the book suggests that, by exposing ourselves to certain colors, we can actually promote healing and balance within ourselves.
So there's a real emphasis on, like, holistic well-being in this book.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, addressing not just the physical body, but the energetic and mental aspects as well.
Exactly. It reminds us that, true well-being encompasses all those layers of our being.
Now, earlier you mentioned that the book also ventures into the realm of, like, tantric methods.
Yes.
This is a topic that I think often gets misconstrued.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Or sensationalized in popular culture.
Absolutely.
So I'm curious to hear how the book addresses it.
You're right. Tantra is often misunderstood. And in this context, the book seems to be referring to specific tantric practices that are aimed at harnessing and channeling energy for spiritual growth.
So it's not about the often portrayed, like, exoticism or sexuality
Yeah.
that people associate with Tantra.
No, not in this context.
Okay.
Authentic tantric practices, as presented in the book,
Yeah.
are really about integrating all aspects of our being.
Okay.
Physical, mental, energetic, for spiritual transformation.
So it's like a very holistic approach to spirituality.
Yes.
Embracing all facets of ourselves.
Yes.
Rather than rejecting or suppressing certain aspects.
Exactly. And it's fascinating to see how this book kind of weaves together these different threads
Yeah.
of yogic and tantric thought
Right.
to create this comprehensive understanding of the path towards self-realization.
So we've talked about the visual elements.
Yeah.
The practical applications, and even touched on these more esoteric aspects like Tantra.
Mm-hmm.
But what would you say is like the most unique aspect of this book? What really sets it apart
That's a good question.
from other texts on yoga?
You know what really struck me is how Patanjali Yoga Pradeep goes beyond just presenting the Yoga Sutras.
Okay.
It incorporates commentaries from other authoritative sources like the V.S. Bhasha and Tattva Vaisarati, offering this much richer and more layered understanding of the text.
So it's like getting multiple perspectives.
Yes.
On the Yoga Sutras.
It's like having, a panel discussion.
Right.
With all these different experts kind of weighing in.
That's really valuable, especially for someone who might be new to the Yoga Sutras.
Absolutely.
Wants to deepen their understanding.
For sure.
That's amazing. And it highlights the fact that yoga is not this monolithic, unchanging tradition.
Yeah.
There's this rich history
Absolutely.
of interpretation and commentary.
Yeah.
And this book does a great job bringing those diverse voices to the forefront.
It does.
And it emphasizes one of the key, I think, tenets of the deep dive, which is exploring multiple perspectives, approaching knowledge with a critical mind.
Exactly. This book really encourages us to think for ourselves, question our assumptions, consider different viewpoints, which are all very essential skills.
Especially today.
Oh, absolutely.
In this world.
Yeah, in navigating this vast and often conflicting world of information.
It sounds like Patanjali Yoga Pradeep is a real gem for anyone who's looking to explore yoga in this holistic, insightful way.
It's a reminder that yoga is a living tradition.
Yeah.
It's constantly evolving and adapting while remaining grounded in those core principles.
This has been such a fascinating exploration.
It has.
We've covered so much ground.
I know. We have.
From like the philosophical foundations of yoga to its practical applications in everyday life.
It's really remarkable how much depth and richness there is to uncover within yoga.
It really is. And I think this book does an incredible job of making that depth accessible.
It's
to a wide audience.
Yeah.
It's a testament to Swami Sitaram's skill as a writer and teacher.
Yeah, absolutely.
So as we kind of wrap up this part of our deep dive, what are some key takeaways that you think our listeners should keep in mind?
I think the most important takeaway is that Patanjali Yoga Pradeep offers this really unique blend of theory, practice, and comparative philosophy. It's not just about memorizing the Yoga Sutras. It's about understanding them in context, seeing their connection to other systems of thought, and exploring their practical application in our lives.
So it's really about like integrating the wisdom of yoga into our daily experiences.
Exactly.
Rather than treating it as this separate, compartmentalized practice.
Right. And, it encourages us to view yoga as a journey of self-discovery rather than a destination.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about embracing that process of learning, growing, and evolving.
Absolutely.
Through the practice of yoga.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's time for us to take a little pause here.
Okay.
And gather our thoughts after this insightful discussion.
Sounds good to me.
Okay, so we're back. And I don't know about you, but my mind is kind of swirling with all these insights that we've uncovered.
I know, me too.
About Patanjali Yoga Pradeep.
It's remarkable, isn't it, how this one book manages to kind of weave together so many different threads of yogic thought. We've gone from ancient scriptures to modern interpretations all in this one deep dive.
It's incredible. We've covered everything from the 6 philosophies of Indian thought to techniques for healing and self-development.
Yeah, and we can't forget those stunning visuals.
Yeah, the visuals really do make the practice of yoga.
Right. It makes it
come alive.
Come alive, yeah.
I love how the book doesn't shy away from exploring different perspectives within yoga.
It doesn't.
Like the debate over whether the 6 philosophies are in conflict or harmony.
Yeah, it encourages us to think critically about these different interpretations, right?
Exactly. And speaking of exploration, we touched upon some pretty fascinating concepts in this book.
We did.
Like those higher realms of existence and the idea of influencing others through these subtle energies.
Yeah, those are really...
I'm curious what you thought about those.
I think they really push the boundaries of what a lot of people consider traditional yoga.
Right.
But they highlight the depth and the richness of yogic traditions.
Yeah.
Which go far beyond just, physical postures.
Right. And we talked about Tantra, body purification techniques.
Yeah.
Even the use of color for healing.
Exactly.
It's clear that this book covers a lot of ground.
It really does. It's like this treasure trove of ancient wisdom just waiting to be rediscovered and applied to our modern lives.
And it all comes back to Swami Sitaram's vision, right? That belief that we can unlock incredible potential within ourselves through self-purification and inward reflection.
Yes, I think that really resonates with me.
Yeah.
It speaks to our human desire for growth, transformation, and connection to something greater than ourselves.
And Patanjali Yoga Pradeep offers a compelling roadmap for that journey. It's not just a theoretical exploration. It provides practical tools and techniques.
Absolutely. Blending theory, practice, and comparative philosophy, I think it provides a really holistic understanding of yoga.
Right.
And empowers us to live more meaningful lives.
I think that's a great note to end on.
Yeah.
But before we officially wrap up this deep dive, I want to pose one final question to our listeners. We've explored a wide range of yogic concepts and practices today.
Yeah.
But ultimately, the most important journey is the one we take within ourselves.
Right.
So I encourage you, dear listener, to kind of reflect on what resonated most with you from this deep dive.
Yeah.
What sparked your curiosity? What insights will you carry with you? Maybe this has inspired you to explore a new aspect of yoga.
Yeah, for sure.
Or maybe it's simply deepened your appreciation for the tradition as a whole. Whatever your takeaway, remember that yoga is a lifelong journey of self-discovery.
Yes, it is.
And as Swami Sitaram reminds us, we all have that potential to awaken to our true nature.
It's a journey worth taking.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into Patanjali Yoga Pradeep.
Thanks for joining us.
Until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep.